Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Strike Thoughts. It's round 7. I'm here with Peter Frost. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How did you enjoy those cars last weekend?
Yeah, but I've only just watched the prelims I watched it a bit back to front. So I watched the main event. I watched the main event Saturday, and then watched the prelims. Yeah, today. A bit late, but
no, it's good. They're fresh. That's better. They're fresh.
As I said to you, I found out where all that blood come from.
Well, we might as well start there then. Darren Elkins against Nate Landwehr. I don't think, me personally, I don't think I've seen this much blood before in a UFC fight. It was it was mad. Like I remember watching it to a certain extent and thinking like, okay, I've never had this before. I've always enjoyed UFC. The missus hates it. You know, she finds it a bit violent and stuff like that. Towards the end of round 3, I was getting a bit uncomfortable.
I think I've seen the only one I can think of that amount that was coming out, and the same sort of point in his head was what's his name, little Joe Daddy Stevenson when he fought BJ Penn.
Oh yeah.
But like it was spraying, and I remembered his face was just like covered in blood, sort of to the point you couldn't even see his face, like what Elkins looked like. And then that was when BJ got him in the rear naked choke and started squeezing even more blood out, and it was pumping. I was like, gee. But in terms of like actually taking that and fighting back as well.
Absolute warrior. Yeah, it was actually a really, really good fight. In round 1, you had Elkins starting really, really strong, takedown, and then Nate towards the end started sort of showboating. You know, hands down, walking down.
It was a little bit annoying. That one, like the one arm behind the back, to say like I can beat you with one arm. It's like. Nah,
one arm
like
but shouting at Dana.
Yeah,
Dana!
That stuff as well. It's like fucking hell, you can see, mate.
There's no one else in the fucking arena. There's no one else in the arena.
I know, yeah.
It was a really
sick fight.
That was a really, really sick fight. Round 1 started well. Round 2, you had Nate really, really hurting him with a knee, and then obviously, as we mentioned, shouting Dana. And then round 3, the cut was just so bad. But Elkins was still hurting him, bruv, in the third round.
I thought he'd come back. Yeah, I thought he'd come back more in the third round.
100%.
I thought it was probably. Well, I don't know. I don't know whether it was closer than what. Maybe if the blood wasn't there, then maybe that played a big factor. But it was a wicked elbow to cut him open.
Yeah, it was a great shot from Nate Landwehr. It's good to see. We'll see what happens with Nate. He's obviously a young fighter up and coming. So we'll see what happens. What weight class was that? I can't even remember. I haven't got it down here.
Was it feather? I think it was feather, wasn't it?
There was a lot of featherweight fights on this event. So we'll see what happens with Nate afterwards. It was really, really good, like hearing him talk afterwards, because if you close your eyes and just listen to Nate Landwehr talk, you'd think it was like a black guy from like the south of America.
I know, yeah. Doesn't sound. He's got like some weird. I don't know what sort of haircut you'd call that.
It was so funny hearing him talk afterwards. So funny. So we'll see what happens with him after that. It was a really, really good fight for Darren Elkins. What do you reckon? Just trying to get paydays now.
Yeah, probably. He's been in so many of them sort of fights. You hear his corner, they're like, "It's all right, you're bleeding." Now we know it's like, what they say, the fight starts now.
Yeah.
Poor sod. He's probably like, "Fuck this! Can't you teach me to not get cut?"
The fight started now. I'm fucking bleeding, you cunt. Really, really good fight. So, yeah, I was really impressed with both of those. And shout out to Darren Elkins, man, a really, really big fan favourite. The next fight was actually a featherweight one as well. We had Giga Chikadze against Owen Rivera. Really, really good fight. Chikadze was using his distance well. And because obviously he's the bigger fighter. The fighters, I do love having a crowd, obviously, but I'm loving these empty arenas. You can hear them shouting at each other. You can hear them. You can hear the sweat. You can hear the breathing. You can hear like every little detail about it, and it makes you realise how much the fighters will probably be like shouting at each other towards the end. Love it.
Oh yeah, I think that was the one that stood out for me watching it just. The other one was watched because of the blood and stuff, but it like landed when he started finding his rhythm. And that poor guy was just like, he was like so game, that Rivera, but he was just running into shots, like running into knees, running into like straight right hands, and he just kept countering. It was just like, you could hear every single shot.
Definitely, definitely. However, the only thing about the fight was obviously Chikadze looked great. He was controlling him through distance, kicks, knees, elbows, that kind of stuff. But this Irwin Rivera, he took this fight on a day's notice. So, you know, just absolutely incredible, the fact that he turned up like that, took it on a day's notice. And he's also coming up in weight as well. So for someone who's coming up in weight and for someone who took it on like a day's notice, you know, really, I would say really, really, really impressive performance. So he's still doing really well. In round 3, Chikadze dropped him with a knee and Rivera came up swinging. Like, he dropped him with a knee and Rivera came straight back up swinging. I was thinking, this guy is, if he,
So
I want to see him on a full camp. I think he'll be a good fighter.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, you could tell, like, he just had he was carrying a bit of weight and stuff as well. But yeah, it'd be good to see him with a full camp.
I think he's going to settle well into the UFC, so we'll keep an eye on Irwin Rivera there. But yeah, Chikadze just controlled the fight really. The last 10 seconds threw like a wild wheel kick, and then Rivera caught him in a heel hook. And I was just thinking, it's just the last 10 seconds of a fight is sometimes the most exciting. It's so funny.
I know. And really, if he got caught.
Yeah, imagine that. He submitted him in the last 10 seconds. Heel hook. It'd be amazing. But yeah, so Chikadze, really, really, I think he's quite a game fighter, actually. I'm quite excited to see what he does. The only thing about the featherweight division, though, brother, it's just so stacked. Like, it's just difficult. It's difficult to see.
Oh, that was featherweight as well.
That was featherweight as well. Yeah, so just a completely stacked division. The next one, the next fight was interesting. It was a middleweight fight between Kevin Holland and Anthony Hernandez. Bruv, round 1, first round stoppage. It's one of these fights where they show you the highlights, and in the highlights, they just show you the full fight. Massive elbow from Kevin Holland in the clinch. Finished it off with a knee to the midsection. 39 seconds into round 1. Yeah, give me your thoughts on this fight then.
Yeah, it was sick. I've not really seen either of them before. But just the way that guy come out and started moving, like, he just looks like, you know, when someone's got something like an Israel Adesanya or something like that, and just the way he was moving, and like they started talking about the other guy that he'd finished someone in the Ultimate Fighter just by like catching them like with a shot, and they dropped to their face. And as soon as they said that Holland just started unloading, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, yeah, just he's definitely got something about him.
Definitely. And the only thing you mentioned Izzy there, and I wanted to just talk to you about the middleweight division, just to say, for me, it just seems like there's a bit of a kind of chasm where it's like you've got Izzy and then you've got Romero and Whitaker and stuff like that. And then there seems to be, I don't know, I might be wrong, but it seems to be a big drop off. Like, if you look at any of these guys, like, let's look at Kevin Holland, for example, winning this fight in impressive fashion. I mean, is he going to give Izzy a run for his money? That's the only thing. I might be being a bit kind of tunnel vision with it, but I just feel like, what could any of these guys really do against Izzy? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I always do that. I always look at these poor people. Like, I think I did it in one of the fights on the last card, that the women's fight. I can't remember her name. Eubanks against
Sajara Eubanks.
Yeah. I looked at the other woman she was fighting, and I was like, do you really think you're ever going to be like champion? Like, defeat the women's champion? Like, you just not like, maybe people can just go on like mad runs and stuff, but
of course
you do look at these people, and like, I think we're right to judge, like, can that guy like Holland, like, I don't know, he's got so much confidence as well, and just like a good finish like that. He called out Mickey Gall. I don't know whether that's the right thing to do.
It's really interesting. Like, he called out Mickey Gall, and Mickey Gall is welterweight as well, so he'd be dropping down. So
I don't know what his aspirations are. It's like he's quite new, and he's like jumping between divisions, calling out guys that he thinks he can beat. Like,
I respect it, though. I like that. I respect it.
Oh yeah. It's fine, but then I don't know. I'd say, I don't know, is Mickey Gall above him or below him though? It's almost like calling out.
Yeah.
It's calling out someone that's like below you. It's not going to like propel you up the. You got other people going straight away, like, give me a title shot. I want to fight the best people, and he's like, oh, I'll fight Mickey Gall because he chokes people out, and he won't choke me out. So, or you can try. It's just weird. I don't know. Um,
We'll see. I think he's just game. I think he knows that we're in a bit of a strange time at the moment where not every fighter is allowed to fight. So he's probably thinking,
yeah,
right,
it's
Mickey
true.
Gall's looking for a fight and he's clear to fight. I'm clear to fight. I just want to get
Mm.
back in there as soon as possible. I think, look at people like Jeremy Stevens and that kind of stuff. You get those if you get those UFC hours in, you develop so much as a fighter. Like
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
it's
Yeah.
all about those cage minutes. So yeah, interesting for
Mm.
him to call out another fighter, but I do like that. He made a really funny joke at the end of his fight when he was being interviewed as well, when he said, "Yeah, I couldn't, I didn't have DC commentating
Yeah,
for."
they said the wrestling.
Yeah. I didn't have him commentating, so I couldn't pick up any wrestling tips. So I thought, I'll just finish it.
It's so weird, isn't it? How people are actually using that now.
It's strange. It's very, very strange. So yeah, it's interesting to see. I mean, the good thing, the one of the reasons why, obviously, there's many reasons why I enjoy doing this with you, Pete. But one of the reasons why is because where normally I just watch a card, enjoy it, and I'll text you about it. But where we're getting together after every card, and I'm sort of making notes now, we get to follow these fighters in a bit more detail. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's nice to actually because there's a lot of fights I sort of I never used to really watch the prelims and stuff. Like sort of before all this sort of stuff happened, I was just sort of I'd wake up or I'd just sort of not really bother with them just because I didn't know who these people were. Whereas now I've got the time and it's just like, oh, you know what, sod it. Some of to be honest, that was one of the best prelims that I've seen in a while. Like compared to the other two, it's just like you got two potential fight of the nights on there. With those two before that you said, and then that guy coming out with a finish as well.
Exactly. Yeah, really, really exciting fights on the prelims. The thing is, you miss. I'd normally have it. I'm exactly in the same boat as you. I'd start the main card, and then a few fights into the main card, it'd go a bit quiet, and then DC and Rogan would be like, "Whew, that prelim earlier," and I'd be like, "Oh, I feel like I've missed it." Do you know what I mean?
Innit?
So funny. So yeah, shouts to Kevin Holland. We'll see what happens. Anthony Hernandez, again, it's difficult to come off a stoppage like that, but we'll see what happens with him in the middleweight divisions. Be one to look out for there. And then moving on to the main prelim, or the prelim main event, I suppose. It was Miguel Baeza against Matt Brown. Pete, you were really, really looking forward and excited to watch Matt Brown and to see Matt Brown. Why don't you give me your thoughts on this fight, mate?
Yeah, that was the one I sort of woke up to. It was just like I thought he'd done well as well. It didn't look like he was outclassed or nothing like that. He just didn't. I think he said afterwards he needs to learn to keep his hands up more and not just trust in his chin and like walk forward, because I think he had that guy hurt as well. But yeah, like it's just you could sort of like a few of them shots as soon as that Baeza started like getting his rhythm. You'd see that left hook was landed about 2 or 3 times before, and it's like, oh man, you need to stop. You need to stop taking them. And then that was the one that done him. But
yeah. Well, the thing is, it's really, really two fighters here on the absolute like antithesis of each other. You've got Matt Brown, a really experienced welterweight, who's again probably not looking for a title run or anything like that, but just looking to get more time in the octagon and get paid. And then you've got Miguel Baeza, 8-0, 12 years younger than Matt. And coming in trying to get up the ranks. He was chewing up Matt's leg in the early rounds, and there was no checking going on. And I just think, look, yeah, for an experienced veteran fighter, just raise your leg and check it. You know what I mean? I mean, again, this is us never fucking checked anything in our life, but you would think that he'd be checking those. But it was a really, really big KO from Miguel Baeza in round 2. Early in the round, he dropped Matt with a counter left and then rained down a filthy elbow. It just sort of done him from there, really.
I still think he's there though. Like, there's still good fights for him to have. Maybe he's sort of done this before. I think Matt Brown, he's fell away once before, a couple of losses or whatever, and I thought to myself, oh, he's done. And then he had another really good run when he come back. But yeah, I don't know. There's still some good fights out there for him.
There's still definitely some fights I'd love to see in the welterweight division from Matt, definitely, because I know how experienced he is, and I know that he can catch people with, all he needs is that one big shot, one big elbow or whatever, and he can definitely catch someone. But yeah, disappointing for Matt, obviously, but really, really promising for Miguel Baeza. So we'll see how Baeza gets on a bit further down the line as well. Again, that was in the welterweight division. So again, a division that's like just absolutely stacked. We're going to see what's happened there. Just while we're on this, before we get to the main card, then, like in the welterweight division, Pete, you've got obviously Usman as champ, and then you've got Masvidal in there, you've got Colby in there, and then the one name that just keeps coming up is Conor McGregor. Now, Conor, he keeps being brought up in the welterweight conversations and the lightweight conversations, which is a credit to him because there's no other fighter that gets brought up like that in the top in so many different, like in a few different weight divisions where he does. Even featherweight, he's still chatting shit to the featherweights, which I love. I think that's fucking like great. I'm here for the shit talking. But what do you think? Like, first of all, not what do you think? What do you want to see? I know that you are a Conor fan. Like, do you want Conor Masvidal or do you want Conor Tony? Do you want Conor Khabib? Like, what do you want to see? What do you think's the best fight?
I was literally just listening to the I'm not that far into it. I was just listening to the Fight Companion, and like Joe Rogan, Brendan Schaub, and Eddie Bravo. They started talking about it and started going, "Oh, this could happen." They started doing what we enjoy doing, like matchmaking, and they were like, "You've probably gone past this bit already, but there's a bit where they go." I think Eddie Bravo says, "Why don't we have like a tournament on one card? So it's like them two fight, these two fight, the next two fight, and then the winner fights the winner." And it just sounds so exciting. The way, like, Joe Rogan's eyes lit up. He was like, "Yes." He was like, "God, that card would be amazing." Brendan Schaub's going mad. But what they did say, it's obviously like, to make sense, it would be Gaethje Khabib for the title, which would probably be the main event, and then co-main event like Tony versus Conor, and whoever, like, the winner fights the winner. But then what they did say is it seems to have gotten quite bad with Khabib's dad again.
Yeah.
So if he's not in the right frame of mind, Gaethje open to, I mean, to me, the next one down for Gaethje and the big one, because they talk so much shit, is Conor. So maybe for the interim, something like that. Like if Khabib's going to be out for another little while, then do the interim again. Have Conor fight Justin, and then the winner of that fights Khabib afterwards. But then you don't know what's going to happen. But that's probably the one furthest from what's actually going to happen. But I actually really like Conor at welterweight, and I don't think I think he's maybe too small for the wrestlers, but I don't think he's too small for the strikers.
Right.
He just looks like, even against, maybe it's the way that he fought against Cowboy, but like he looked big against Cowboy, and just the way that he come at him, put it on him, went straight. I've never seen him run across the cage and throw a leap in like straight left hand. It's always like he comes out with a kick or something and then waits for the counter and blah blah blah. But he literally come out there as if he wanted to just take his head off with that one shot.
Yeah.
And I think he could technically. I'd love to see the fight against Masvidal. I think that'd be the most fun for everyone, and it's not like he's taking a step down like either of them, because Masvidal's got the BMF belt, like he beat Nate. So obviously Conor and him have got history as well, so it all sort of gels into one. So I'd love to see him fight. I think Masvidal is the most exciting one. I think.
I would love to see that. I've just got the rankings up here at the moment. In the lightweight division, we've got obviously Gaethje as we've got Khabib as champ, and then we've got Gaethje as interim champ. We've got Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier though. Pete, what do you think about Dustin?
He's fuming, isn't he? That's
he
when
must
he come
be
out.
livid.
No, like, yeah, Conor was like, "How'd you put that pea head above me?" Like, he's like, I fed into the canvas in 30 seconds. But I mean that is an exciting rematch, but I don't see what Conor gets out of it. I think they're just going to talk shit to each other. But it's like he's beaten before, obviously at a lower weight, and they both moved up. But I think it's more just Dustin desperately trying to get that rematch. But I think the only two options really for are either Gaethje or Masvidal. I don't want him to fight Nate again.
I would love to see a trilogy. I would love to see that trilogy.
No, that fight scares me too much.
We'll see. Well, going on to the welterweight ranking, so we've got Usman as champ, and then we've got Woodley, Colby, Masvidal, and Leon Edwards. So McGregor is ranked in the lightweight division. McGregor is ranked 4th, and in the welterweight division, he's ranked 14th. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I personally, what I would like to see is I don't think in this stage in his career, with all that money in the bank, it's just strange that Conor wants to cut all that weight. It's so much work. It's so hard to get down to 155. It's so strange to me that he still wants to do that, even at this stage of his career. I respect it. I rate it very, very highly. But, you know, I don't really, again, it's a strange one for me. For me, in the lightweight division, I feel like it's kind of sewn up with Conor. For me, it's like, in the lightweight division, I want to know who can beat the champ, right? So I want to know in that division, if the division's stacked, it's like you've got the champ and you've got all these people that can beat him. Now, with Khabib and Tony, I think it will be a crazy fight. Khabib and Justin, I think it will be a crazy fight. Khabib and Conor, I think if they fight each other 10 times, I think Khabib wins, you know, at least 8 of them. Do you know what I mean? So it's, to me, it's
Fucking
not.
hell, you're giving him 2.
I don't know. You never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. That's
Just trying to be nice.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be nice. It's probably 10, but I'm just trying to, you know, play. I'm just trying to play balance. But the welterweight division, Masvidal Conor, Pete, for me is I think that's a money fight. They're both got mad followings. I think it'll be brilliant. The only thing about that division, then again, looking at that, is who the fuck beats Usman? That's the only thing. It's like,
yeah, that's the only worrying one in that division for me. Like you look at, I think Roberts, like Conor could probably beat.
Yep.
Masvidal, if he comes in like he did again, like if he comes in 100%, then he's got a good chance of beating Masvidal. Who's the other one? Even Colby would be a wicked fight against Conor. Like all the trash talk and stuff would be so funny.
Wonder Boy's in there as well.
Wonder Boy, yeah, because they both got that sort of karate in and out style. That could be interesting. But then you know what I mean? Like Usman, even I'd admit that's probably even a tougher task than Khabib. That's just like, for what he did to Woodley, it's just like, fucking hell, if he could just choose to do that against Conor, do you know what I mean?
Who did what to Woodley?
Usman, just the way that he ragdolled him for 5, do you know what I mean? Like if he can do that, if he can do that to Woodley, he can do that to Conor, like easy.
Mate, absolutely. Yeah, we'll
there's so much to like. I think the smart thing to do for Conor would be fight Masvidal for the BMF title and fight Ireland, something like that, like a big massive event to keep his profile still up there.
Yeah.
If I was it, I'd just let Justin and Khabib play out, because I think he's got a better chance to win that title back if Justin's a champion.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So if he plays it smart, he could work his way around it. But then I think he's just got that ego where he's just like, nah. I think the only reason he still wants any lightweight fights is Khabib.
To get another shot at him.
Yeah, like even, I don't even think it's for the title. I think it's just to say that he's beat him. Like I don't really see him. I don't know if it's not for the money, or like he's had the lightweight belt before. It's not like, oh, I'm the champion. It's more like, fuck, that guy beat me, and it's probably eating away at him. He just wants to get that win back.
Yeah, we'll see. What we'll do, we'll move on to the main card as well then, and then we'll just quickly preview a few fights that's coming up as well, hopefully on the next UFC card. So the first fight of the main card of the latest UFC, it was Song Yadong against Marlon Vera. You know, it was weird what was happening. So Yadong didn't get he was having visa issues, so Faber jumped on the scales?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mad.
But I think they said they was going to do it like a bit heavier. Maybe he didn't make proper weight. Maybe they would have done it at a different weight. But yeah, so I thought, how does that even work? Like the guy's fought in the UFC before, and it's like, why would he have problems fighting in? It's like, what do they think he is? Like, it's fucking. He might be a terrorist.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It is. Mate, listen, he's got bombs in his fucking gloves. I know that because he was coming out with some big hands, especially in round 1. Really, really big exchanges from both of these people. Marlon was definitely better with his kicks, and then Song was really, really good with his punches. Really good exchanges. In round 2, there was a mad exchange of elbows for about a good 8 seconds. They were just hitting each other with elbows. It was like incredible watching that. And then, yeah, great takedown from Vera in the last round. Vera was in Song's full guard. Great body shots from Vera, but a unanimous decision that went to Song. Did you think it was a right decision?
It was. I was a little bit in and out of it, but I thought, I don't know, really. I could see like either way. Like I could have seen it going either way, but maybe just because of maybe it looked like that Song he was like hitting him harder. I'm not too sure. Maybe with like the power shots, maybe that's what they were looking at. But I thought that Vera looks good though. It's not like he was pissed, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He just walked straight up.
Yeah, it was a close fight. It could have gone either way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there with Song. You know, he's obviously Faber's called him the future of the featherweight division. Again, that was a featherweight fight, so we'll see what happens. As I say, they both look fight. I don't feel like we always talk about how fighters have certain stock in the game or whatever, and then you have certain fights where it's like no fighter's stock really drops. Do you know what I mean? They still look dangerous, they still look good, and you still never know like what's going to happen with them sort of further down the line. So we'll see what happens with both of those fighters, with Vera and Song Yadong as well. But a good win for Song there. The next fight was Eric Anders against Krzysztof Jotko. This wasn't the most exciting fight in the world, Pete.
No, wasn't. It didn't live up to it, did it really?
Especially because you have obviously big, heavy hitting middleweights. Yotko's such a good striker. Eric Anders, ex-NFL starter, you know, absolute beast. So I was thinking that this is going to be a really, really big fight, but not the most exciting fight. Yotko was really good, finding some range. And this again, I've got it written down again. Like, mate, this is a middleweight division fight. You know, which one of these two is going to give Romero or Whitaker a problem? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's almost like it goes through stages, I think. Like you have them sort of eras where it's like, oh, this is the light heavyweight era, and all the best fighters are there, the ones you want to see. And then it's like then it's the middleweight era when maybe Silva was fighting everyone and stuff like that. But it just seems to have died off a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah, apart from them top 4 or 5 middleweights, it's like there's not much going on.
Yeah, it's a strange one. We've got obviously Darren Till in there as well. Let's not forget Darren Till, and let's not forget Kelvin Gastelum as well. You know, we've got some. There's just the division's so stacked, and I just feel like, again, maybe being too harsh. Obviously, both young fighters, and Anders is just sort of coming up and that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens there. But you know, I just like seeing some exciting fights. But unanimous decision there for Yotko, and you can look like it was that just not the sort of it wasn't really one-sided, but the more, you know, when we spoke about before, when you can tell who's got the more snap in their shots and stuff like that. You could just tell that it was falling nicely for Yotko there. So we'll see what happens with those two fighters again. And then just moving on to the next fight, it was Dan Ige against Edson Barboza. This was a fucking great fight, Pete. Yeah,
that was great as well. How come we've got all these featherweight fights? Where are all the middleweights? Are they just like, no, fuck that, we don't want to fight at the moment?
I don't know.
All the featherweights are just stacking the cards out, and you've got like a couple of middleweight fights.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But the thing is, so, like, I don't know. If you're watching a card, are you looking to, like, do you like seeing, like, let's say you've got Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday event. Would you want to see, like, lots of featherweights on one card, lots of middleweights on one card, and then, like, a heavyweight card? Or do you like seeing a mixture of different fights on different cards?
I think it's good to see a mixture. It depends if the fights are connected, like we just said about if they do like, and it's almost like a tournament to like the 4 best fighters in the lightweight division to the top 2 fight, and then the 3rd and 4th fight, and it's almost like they're setting up their future fights like there and then. But like, yeah, maybe there's just more featherweights to choose from at the moment. I don't know. It's weird. But then they're all sick. Like it's all like all the featherweight fights have been wicked.
Exactly. It's such an exciting division because, and the thing about Barboza, such a savage, he's dropped down from a really, really stacked lightweight division, and he's just dropped straight down into an even more stacked featherweight division. Just absolutely mad, you know, just mad work rate from him. But it was a really, really exciting fight. Edson dropped Ige with a right in round 1, dropped into Ige's guard. There was some massive exchanges, but I thought Edson looked really, really good in round 1. You know, it didn't look like the weight cut had affected him too much. And because he was coming down, he looked like he had a lot of power in his shots as well. Round 2, Ige came out swinging, some great output from him as well. But Edson's takedown defense, for a striker, his takedown defense, mate, fucking hell, so sick. Good.
He must have just never trained to actually do takedowns ever. It's just all defense.
That's it. Yeah, just sprawls and kicks. That's all he's doing. That's all he's doing. I did notice though, like you know, when you watch Barboza, you do expect he was having, not to take anything away, because he was having a lot of success with his hands, but he didn't throw a lot of kicks.
No, that's what I don't understand. But in all the fights I've seen him where he's like lost or where he hasn't looked that comfortable, I don't think his boxing is like his best thing. Like, he covers up a lot. Like, he really covers up. Like, as soon as someone comes in and unloads on him, he's got his hands wrapped around his head, and then he sort of takes it, and then he gives it a second, and then answers back. Whereas like you got other people like Gaethje against Ferguson and stuff, they just like bite down on the gum shield and just swing. It's just like it's just different, yeah. And there was points where that Ige was just, he didn't give a shit. He was just coming forward swinging. And Barbosa was just sort of, he was taking quite a bit, but yeah, just the legs. Like, well, I don't know. Maybe it's hard to say when you're not in there, but you'd think to yourself every fight, like, why don't you just try and win every fight by leg kicking someone?
It's
like,
true.
Just smash them up. And it was like he weren't throwing enough to even try that. Maybe got caught with a shot that we didn't really notice from trying to throw a leg kick, and he was probably thinking like, "Fuck that, I'm a little bit too open throwing the leg kicks." But overall, I thought he'd done the most damage, to be honest.
You think Barbosa did?
Fight. Yeah, like he got to the end, and I was a bit like, it weren't clear cut, but I was like, oh no, he's done enough because he hurt him more.
Right.
And he landed the cleaner shots. Yeah, he looked like he had more power. Defended the takedowns well, but yeah, I don't know.
It was a close fight, really, really close fight. Ige got a win by split decision, so it was a really, really close fight. Do you think Barbosa stays in now? What do you think's next for him then?
I think I thought I read something today where he said he wasn't. He's like, if he doesn't get his win bonus, then he's not cutting that weight ever again. So I've got a feeling he's going to go back up to lightweight.
Fuck yeah, no, bless him. The featherweight division is we keep saying it's stacked. I've just got the rankings up here. So we've got Volkanovski as champion, Holloway at number 1. Then we've got Brian Ortega, we've got Zabit, we've got Chan Sung Young, who's the Korean zombie. We've got Yair Rodriguez, Calvin Kattar, Frankie Edgar, Josh Emmett, Jeremy the Heathen Stevens, Shane Burgos, Danny Igue's ranked number 11, Aldo's still ranked at number 13. It's a really, really sort of stacked division. So yeah, I don't know. But the thing is, I would love to see Edson in there amongst them. I think he can give some of those people a really, really, really sick fight. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Penultimate fight of the evening. Well, sorry, were you going to say something?
No, go
on. Sorry, Pete. So we've got this penultimate fight. We've got Angela Hill against Claudia Gadelha. Some really good striking from Angela in round 1. It was a really, really close round. Ended up mostly in a bit of a grappling fight. In round 2, Angela did drop her with a straight right, sort of let her up. Some really good exchanges again. It was getting really spicy towards the end of round 2. And then round 3, great combos again from Angela. I thought personally that Angela won this fight, Pete, but the judges gave a split decision to Claudia. What did you think?
Fucking fell asleep during this one. I totally forgot about this one. Fuck it. Everyone's gonna think I'm so sexist. I'm not sexist.
It's sexist. The women are fighters too.
I know. Fucking hell. Yeah, this is all you. This one.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine. I'll take it from here. But no, it was. I did think. Claudia did well, but I think she won the fight. The only thing about this is, which is a little bit kind of frustrating, I guess, for Angela. If we just go to the women's draw rate, essentially Angela wanted a rating next to her name. Like I got the top 15 fighters here, and she's not ranked in there, so it is a bit strange. But I think she's really, really promising. I think she's a great striker. She's really good on social media and that kind of stuff as well. She's got a lot of personality about her as well. But yeah, they just gave the decision to Claudia. Not to take anything away from her. It was she was still sewing stuff. It wasn't really like one-sided.
She looked better though, didn't she?
Like I say,
I saw photos afterwards, and her face was battered. And there's a picture of Angela smiling, and then I think she posted up the stats as well. And I think round 1, it looks like, if you're going by stats, it looks like she lost. And then 2 and 3, she got quite a few more like significant strikes in. So I don't know. She's pretty pissed. She said she's ready to fight like next card, but that's all I sort of saw in it really. And it's hard to judge by that. Like, I guess like there's a good example. If someone hasn't watched the fight like properly, I started off watching round 1, but you look at the stats and you obviously think, oh, well, that girl landed more shots than that other girl, but it's just like, you don't know what else is going on in that fight. Like what sort of shot? I don't know how they class a significant strike as well. Like,
Yeah, it is strange.
what power range do you give a significant strike?
It is
It's a weird
strange.
one.
It is a weird one. I've heard DC and Rogan talking about it on commentary before, where they say, you know, what is a significant strike? What makes it? Because DC's like, surely fucking listen. I've been in there. Every strike is significant. Trust me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're fucking getting battered up in there. So
Even touching gloves.
there is that one where like Bisping has the record for the most significant strikes landed in UFC history. And then in his last fight with GSP, they had to do the touch gloves, and he just punched GSP glove. And John Anik was like, another significant strike there from landed from Michael Bisping.
So good.
So funny. I love shit like that. UFC banter. UFC banter.
They're so good.
We'll see what happens again with Angela Hill. But yeah, I was very disappointed for her because I did think she won that fight.
That's Straw.
Yeah.
Who's that? Is that Valentina?
So strawweight is no, that's Wei Li Zhang.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, I can't wait to see her fight again. I know. We've
got women's strawweight division. We've got Wei Li Zhang or Zhang Wei Li as the champ. We've got Jessica Andrade at number 1. Thug Rose still in there at number 2. I really want to see Thug Rose fight, man. Like,
yeah, she was meant to fight Andrade, no?
Ah, okay. So they having a rematch. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got called off because I think apparently like Rose is one of the only people that, or not one of the, she can't be the only one, but she's the only one sort of like against fighting while all this is going on. Because I think she's lost some family members and stuff, but
right, okay,
which is like understandable. So yeah, I think that's
absolutely.
It's a bit of a shame we can't see that. That'd be a wicked fight. Yeah, there's some good fights in that division as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we're really interesting division there, so we'll see that. I can't actually see. I thought that Jessica was ranked, obviously, in that division. I can't seem to see her name there. I mean, she literally was champion not long ago, so I'm really confused as to why.
Unless she's moved.
Oh no, so this is so that's the flyweight. Let's have a look. So the pound for pound ranking, she is there. We've got women's strawweight division: Jessica Andrade, Rose, Tatiana, Joanna, Nina, Claudia, Carla Esparza, Michelle Watson. That's fine. Women's flyweight, we've got Shevchenko as champ. Then we've got Jessica I, Caitlin Chikagian. Yeah, that's a strange one. Let me go to bantamweight as well to see her. No, okay, that's a strange one. Anyway, so yeah, the rankings are a bit weird how they work, to be honest. It's a very strange system. But anyway, we digress. Let's move on finally just to the main event, mate. This was Walt Harris against Alistair Overeem. It was a really interesting fight, this. What did you think about this fight, Pete?
Yeah, it felt a bit like, because obviously Overeem's come out and said he's not going to take it easy on him with the circumstances and stuff. And it was almost like shit. Maybe he had pulled back a little bit, because when he started getting tagged, I was like, Jesus Christ, like, sort of felt really good for Walt Harris that he was actually going to do it. Yeah. And then, he took them a couple of big shots. And it was just like, I felt sorry for him even when he was on the floor. I don't know whether it was because he was really that hurt or whether it was all getting, maybe the whole thing was just a bit too much. He just wasn't moving. It wasn't like it was weird. It wasn't like when Glover was on Anthony Smith and he was just exhausted and he couldn't move. It was like he could have, I don't know. Well, I can't really say that. Maybe he was really hurt, but that's Overeem fucking hitting you. But
yeah,
I just felt like maybe the whole thing, even when like the fight got finished and he just sort of stayed on the floor, it seemed like a bit of like an emotional moment, and that like Overeem come over and give him a cuddle and that, and it was just like, there must have been so fucking hard to get your mind in that sort of. Like, it must be hard anyway, getting ready for a fight when you ain't got shit going on outside the cage, but all that going on as well.
Yeah, he just looked sort of overwhelmed by the occasion and stuff like that. Like, to be fair though, Walt dropped him in round 1. It was really close to being stopped.
Yeah, I thought he could have stopped it.
Yeah. Definitely could have stopped it. I think it was Herzog. I think again.
No, Mogliata. I think.
Was it Mogliata? Okay, so yeah. It was really Walt dropped him, and then like just on top of him, Overeem got busted open. But then he didn't stop it. Overeem was still fighting back. Overeem then takes him down and ends the round on top, which it just goes to show like. Maybe they should, I don't know, like at least in boxing, when you knock someone down, they get a standing 10 count and then you see people come back. Like look at Tyson Fury when he came back against Wilder and won the rest of the round. UFC is so interesting where if someone gets knocked down, they couldn't, they're not completely out, but the ref can sort of jump in and stop it. You've got to be really, really like on it with these stoppages, I feel like.
It's
But,
like,
yeah,
I don't know what we should be able to hear it more now, but there must be a certain, maybe certain referees are different, but there must be some sort of rule that it's like, you've got to ask someone if they're taking like little shots, them sort of like, some people take like 5 shots and the ref jumps in. It's like, right, now he was out. Or some people take 20 to 30 of them little tappy shots, like Khabib sort of shots on the side of the head. And it's just like, I don't know what they're saying to him at that point. Like, you need to fight back, or you need to move, or you need to defend yourself. Because it's like, you think in that situation, like, I've not been in that situation properly, but I've been on the floor with someone sort of tapping me on this side of the head. And you know yourself, like, right, I've got to move. And you're waiting for that moment, but then you're tired as well. So it's almost like you're taking a breather.
Yeah.
So it's like you're taking these little tippy taps in the side of the head, but then you're someone going, oh, you need to move. And in your head, you're like, yeah, I know I need to fucking move. I'm just having a breather. But it's just, it's hard. You don't know how hurt these people actually are. Like, he didn't seem that hurt at the end of that one.
It's such a good point. It's such a good point. Well, the end, round 2 is when it finished. It was a massive head kick from Alistair Overeem, which shows that even at his age, he's still able to throw big shots like that. Really, really big head kick from Overeem. And then, he was on Walt's back. He just had him flattened out. And he was just raining, like you said, raining shots down. And it was a long time before it was stopped. But the rest probably thinking, this isn't a fight anymore. This is one man on top of another man not moving, and the other one just raining down shots. You have to think about CTE, you have to think about protecting a fighter, and like you said, they're not like career-ending shots, but it takes a tally, doesn't it? It takes a tally. So a good stoppage from the ref.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Again, I think Walt Harris will definitely come back, and Overeem again. We'll see what happens. What's next for him? He did say, "What's next for you, Alistair?" And he basically said, "I'll go back to the drawing board. I'm still think I'm in a position to be able to have some exciting fights, and who knows, maybe even another shot at the title." So it's good that he's got a clear direction of, look, I want to have one more crack. I'm on my way out, but I still think I've got a bit left in the tank, and we'll see what he can do.
Definitely.
He's got to just come up against people like Francis again. It's not going to end well, probably.
Yeah.
But, we'll see.
Fuck it. I was just going to say, have you seen all this John Jones stuff? Is so exciting.
What do you
Seriously,
think?
I'm praying that happens. Like, it's a weird one, because you'd think if Jones was going to step up to heavyweight, like everyone said he would at some stage when he cleans out light heavyweight, he'd obviously go for the champion, which at the moment, or like if they were both healthy, or if Stipe's eye was all right, it would be Stipe or DC again. But now he's coming out saying if he moves up to heavyweight, he would fight Ngannou and beat him. And it's like, you're taking a big risk. You've got everything to lose in that situation. Like, it'll be like, no, people won't care about the weight. They'll be like, John Jones is beatable. We knew he was going to get knocked out. And then where does that leave him? It's just like, especially because his last few performances haven't been like devastating. Do you know what I mean? It's been close. And
I get that. But Pete, what if he fucks Francis up?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah,
that's the only. It's John Jones. It's one of the goats. Like, you don't like. He could come up in heavyweight. He gets in there, because he even put a tweet out. Who's the more technical striker, Francis Ngannou or Thiago Santos? And it's like, Santos has knocked out everybody. He's got kicks, knees. Like, Francis has got obviously heavy power, but Santos is a technical striker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then, what if I asked you who's the most technical out of Rosenstrike and Ngannou? One guy has had hundreds of kickboxing fights, and he's like been training all his life, and then he's just got this monster that just swings for the hills. Just like, do you know what I mean? It must be horrible for someone like that. Like, 'cause you get taught how to do things all the right way, and then there's just someone that can like just chuckle that technique to one side and just swing as hard as he can. Not so he must have some technique. He must he trains.
I'm sure he trains. I'm sure he trains.
I think he just gets carried away. Like, you wouldn't get John Jones come out with that looping right hand to start off that combination, which is probably what fucks people up. I'd love to see that though. Just even that, like, if he come out against John Jones like that, because you can't run away from that in the first 10, 20 seconds of the fight. You're either just gonna have to cover up, stand your ground, or go for a takedown, I guess. But
it is so interesting. It is so interesting. I would love to see it. So fingers crossed, John goes up to heavyweight and then fights Francis. That'll be banging. So we'll see.
Fucking freak show. That's what you want to see. Freak shows.
It'd be mad. We're coming close to the end there, Pete. We've got a UFC fight card coming up on Sunday, the 7th of July. Now, I want to cut the UFC a bit of slack and obviously cut Dana a bit of slack to say, a lot of stuff still waiting to be confirmed. A lot of stuff, locations, fighters, COVID. It's all a bit fucked up at the moment. So, first of all, big shout out to the UFC for giving us some entertainment during this time. I fucking love what Dana's doing at the moment. I think it's brilliant. We have got a potential UFC 250 coming up on Sunday, the 7th of June. We have some potential fights so far. Alonzo Menfield against Devin Clark in the light heavyweight division. Alex Perez against Jose Formiga in a flyweight fight. We've got Ian Hainch against Gerald Meerschaert in middleweight. Watch Meerschaert's last fight. He looked really good. And then we've got Marky Pitolo against Charles Bird in middleweight. Again, none of these are really fully confirmed, but the one that they're trying to really get over the line is Amanda Nunes against Felicia Spencer for the featherweight title. Amanda's just in one of those positions at the moment where champions get to after a while. They just look unbeatable. And I guess we're just waiting for that one person to just come and dethrone her, I guess, Pete. She just looks unbeatable at the moment.
Yeah, it's like you have to look at. I always look at like just like the top level fighters. Like obviously you got Amanda. You used to have Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, Chris Cyborg, Valentina. It's just like they're like the top. I think there's just such a big gap between the top level women fighters and then the ones below.
Yeah.
Like a couple of the men's divisions, you got that, like the unbeaten fight, like John Jones and Khabib, stuff like that. People don't really come close, but it's just so hard for these other girls to get to that sort of level. I don't know why. Like you just all of a sudden they just got these freak athletes at the top of the pile.
Yeah.
It's just so hard for, especially, I don't know, you're going to need something. You can't just go in there and strike with Amanda, I don't think, or even Valentina. It's like they're just like different level. So she's going to have to find out a different way to take this fight. It's just, yeah, otherwise I just see her getting knocked out.
Yeah, exactly. Even then, you can come in with like Tyson says, everyone's got a plan till they get fucking punched in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can have that. It's, do you know what though? To be fair, the reason why there might be a bit of more of a chasm there is obviously women's MMA is still relatively still quite young. If you think about it,
yeah.
The first real women's fighter to really get this thing on the map was Ronda Rousey. She's only just retired a few years ago. You know what I mean? So it's still coming up. I think women's MMA as well as all MMA. To be honest, we're still relatively early doors with it all. And it's just really, really fucking exciting. But yeah, so we'll see how Felicia gets on against Amanda Nunes. Some really exciting fights coming up. I feel like we've previewed quite a lot there, Peter. So we can call it a day.
There'll be a horrible gap waiting for that next card.
Yeah, so we've got 2 or 3 weeks now until the next card. We try and link up in the meantime to talk some more kind of rumours. I love talking about the rumour mill and stuff like that. But otherwise, we'll take a little break and we'll probably see you just before the next card in the week leading up to it. Obviously, you and me, Peter, we don't talk outside this pod, do we? So I'll... No. I'll see. I'll have to talk to you in a few weeks then, mate. Hey?
Not even met yet, have we? Should meet up once.
Mate. Right, lovely stuff. Thanks very much for listening, everybody. Banging for the UFC, loving what they're doing at the moment. So yeah, more cards the better. All right, Pete, I'll catch up with you soon, mate.
Yeah, take care.
Right, see you later.